97% of CEOs surveyed plan to integrate AI, but only 2% think they're ready. A study claims that AI can reduce our ability to think critically. New tariffs have blindsided U.S. consumers on technology, and some shocking revelations about the teams sent in to fix the U.S. government and its systems. Welcome to #Trending. I'm your host, Jim Love. Let's get into it. Cisco's latest AI briefing highlights a critical tension in executive leadership. While nearly all CEOs recognize the transformative potential of AI, only a small fraction feel ready to implement it effectively. The study surveyed 2,500 CEOs from companies with at least 250 employees across Europe, North America, South America, Africa, and APAC. The findings show that there is a high degree of interest and urgency in terms of AI. 97% of CEOs plan to integrate AI into their operations, and 73% worry about falling behind due to gaps in IT knowledge or outdated infrastructure. But it brings us to what we've called the CEO paradox. As we noted, 97% plan to integrate AI, almost 3/4 of those surveyed worried about falling behind, but only 2% feel that they're truly prepared to implement AI. And if that's not enough to twist your brain, while 82% of CEOs claimed in the study to understand AI's potential benefits, 74% admitted that their lack of AI knowledge hinders their ability to ask critical questions in the boardroom. And 58% believe their understanding of AI will negatively impact their company's growth over the next 5 years. In terms of other obstacles, 40% cited skill shortages as a major barrier, while 33% pointed to infrastructure limitations and 28% worried that AI's benefits have been exaggerated. The divide suggests that while executives publicly advocate for AI adoption, their organizations may lack the internal expertise or systems to execute it effectively. The report highlights that without investments in training, security, and infrastructure, AI initiatives risk becoming costly experiments rather than strategic assets. The report acknowledges that failure to address the issues blocking progress could have a high cost. The study found that companies lagging in AI readiness risk increased operating costs, 35% said that, missed business opportunities, 32% said that, loss of market share, that was 28%, poor customer retention, 25%, and reduced profitability, 31%. 10% of CEOs see no major risks in delaying AI implementation, a mindset that could leave their companies vulnerable in the long run. It's a lot to figure out, so I asked ChatGPT. It told me, the contradictions in the data are not so much errors as they are reflections of a deeper strategic and operational tension. On one hand, CEOs want to signal that they are on the cutting edge by committing to AI integration. On the other, they are realistic and perhaps even pessimistic about their current ability to do so effectively. This tension is amplified by internal skill shortages, outdated infrastructure, and a natural caution born of recognizing AI's complexity and transformative power. Couldn't have said it better myself. Another recent study from Microsoft called The Impact of Generative AI on Critical Thinking explored how generative AI, or Gen AI, affects critical thinking in professional settings, particularly whether it enhances or diminishes cognitive engagement. They surveyed 319 knowledge workers, collecting 936 first-hand examples of AI-assisted tasks. Now, the study found clear inverse relationship between confidence in AI and critical thinking. Higher trust in generative AI correlates with reduced critical engagement. But workers with higher self-confidence would engage in more critical thinking and may feel that they're wasting time having to check AI outputs. The bottom line is the study really doesn't have a cut and dry conclusion. It seems that Gen AI doesn't eliminate critical thinking, but it might reshape it. Instead of direct problem solving, users can now shift their focus to verifying AI-generated content, integrating responses, and managing AI outputs, a shift the report calls task stewardship. Now, clearly, in some cases, AI significantly reduces effort in information retrieval and content summarization, makes tasks faster, but potentially leading to unchecked reliance on AI-generated information. Decision-making tasks require more oversight, as professionals must cross-check AI outputs with reliable sources. And finally, creative work benefits from AI's ideation capabilities, but it demands human refinement for originality and accuracy. So, what the report calls stewardship might be uneven, though. 59% of respondents reported engaging in critical thinking when using Gen AI, but 41% admitted minimal to no critical assessment. So, the study confirms that while Gen AI increases efficiency, it has risks for over-reliance, and it may lead to a lack of critical assessment by a major part of our employee population. President Trump's move to end what's called the de minimis exemption on Chinese imports has blindsided online shoppers who are used to snagging items under $800 without paying any duties. That's because the de minimis exemption refers to the fact that normally anything that has a value of under $800 has, for all intents and purposes, been ignored in the past. So if a consumer bought a $5 item from a Chinese e-commerce player like Temu or Shein, the biggest worry was shipping. That de minimis was ended when the 10% tariff was announced, and it's hit low-value packages in a big way. Consumers are reporting surprise fees where carriers are scrambling to adapt, and popular bargain platforms are bracing for high costs. Another reason for the sticker shock, though, is the carriers were caught by surprise. Instead of working with the actual value, which requires changes to systems and processes, UPS and others were valuing all low-value items, even a $5 item, at the de minimis ceiling of $800. One TikTok user vented about having to cough up $115 just to claim a package from China. The U.S. Postal Service even had to pause deliveries from China and Hong Kong before backtracking on that. The confusion has, in the end, President Trump announced a temporary restoration of the duty-free threshold until systems are in place to handle fees on lower-value imports, but no one seems certain how or when the new rules will stick. Platforms specializing in low-cost Chinese goods have built entire business models around this duty-free loophole. Now the likes of Temu and Shein must pay additional levies on every sale, likely driving up prices and slamming the brakes on the ultra-cheap deals that drew so many shoppers. Analysts warn that the era of ordering $5 shirts and $10 gadgets directly from China, no questions asked, might be fading fast. There were stories during the last election that there was a hidden master plan to quickly and radically transform or dismantle the U.S. government. You can take your pick of the description depending on how you feel about it. Let's just settle it with rapid change for the sake of this piece. But if there was a master plan, it appears that that plan was more strategic than tactical. One big example hit the news over the past few days. A young man, Edward Korestein, a 19-year-old technologist on Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, or Doge, who uses the moniker Big Balls on social media, has come under scrutiny for allegedly retaining ties to cybercrime networks collectively called the COM. Despite these associations, Korestein reportedly received clearance to help Doge access sensitive U.S. government databases, a process critics say happened too quickly to ensure national security. There was a further article in Wired that revealed that Korestein's past includes time in Discord and Telegram channels used by criminals who buy or sell services like distributed denial of service attacks. Now, obviously at 19 he's barely out of high school, but he does have a short but eventful work history, which just adds to the mystery of how he got a security clearance. He briefly worked at a company called Path Networks, an anti-DDoS firm known for hiring former black hat hackers, before being fired for allegedly leaking internal documents. And in a notable twist, Path Networks itself came under fire after journalist Brian Krebs of Krebs on Security published a critical piece on Path Networks, and then Krebs on Security was hit with one of the largest DDoS attacks ever recorded at the time. Coincidence? Possibly. After leaving Path, Korstein moved on to Musk's Neuralink and from there to Doge. So there was indeed time for proper vetting. It just didn't seem to happen. And while Elon Musk is free to hire whomever he wants, in his current role, young Korstein has access to extremely sensitive information. His work history has indications that he doesn't respect information security. But more troubling is his association with cybercriminal gangs. There is ample evidence that leaving gangs, whether they be street gangs or cybercriminal communities, even if the person tries to make a break, leaves them much more vulnerable to extortion attempts or blackmail, factors that typically prevent people from securing government clearances. When any doubt about an individual's loyalty or reliability arises, the decision should favor national security, reads the directive from the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. Despite these concerns, the White House insists Doge has the legal authority and the right clearances. Indeed, after he was let go, Musk and Vice President Vance and even President Trump have all said that Big Balls or Korstein should be rehired. So, fired for leaking company secrets, member of a cyber criminal gang with the handle Big Balls. Hire him back? Would you? Now that would take some that would be too easy. I'll just end it with this instead. Just as we went into the studio to record this, news broke that Elon Musk is leading a group that aims to buy OpenAI. Now, that should make you sleep better. That's our show for today. Love to hear what you think. You can reach me at editorial@TechNewsDay or find me on LinkedIn, or if you're watching on YouTube, just make a comment under the video, and I'd love it if you're nice about it, as 98% of you are, and thank you. But to the rare few who want to rant and roll after 40 years in IT, I've probably heard worst. So here's what I'm going to say to those commenters. The same thing I say to everybody. Have a terrific Tuesday.